Okay. Okay, we're gonna start everything. Okay, that's ready. That's ready. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're now live. Let me just do the little announcement that we're now live for the free weekly outlook. So this is the link. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And now we're just gonna do a little announcement that we are as well live directly on Instagram. So that would be perfect. Okay, so let me just do the announcement that we are on Instagram. Not we are on Instagram, but we're streaming too. Okay, perfect. So we have this, and let's do this like this. Perfect. We are now live for the free weekly outlook. Perfect. Don't hesitate to join and ask your questions. Yeah, by the way, guys, I hope I'm gonna be able to answer all your questions today like the other times. So if you have any questions or stuff like that, don't hesitate to just keep them and then send them when it's gonna be the right time. But yeah, before doing that, let me just do the announcement. And when I'm gonna finish to do the announcement, we're gonna be able to start the live stream like usually. So yeah, welcome. It's the beginning of the live stream, so watch here. Okay, bam, perfect. We like that. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So everything is now ready. We're gonna start doing the live stream now. So bam, as you can see, we place everything like usually, like we need, with as well, oops, that's not it, the watermark right here, so it's everything good right now. So let's see, we are one person, so only one person joined already, so we're gonna wait for more people to join, but we're gonna as well start it right now. So the announcement is now done. I sent it everywhere, so hope more people join next. But yeah, guys, we're gonna do the breakdown and the weekly outlook of all my major pairs like usually. So yeah, guys, we're just gonna start with, again, Euro USD, GP USD, USD GPY, etc. And we're gonna find some setups, some entries according to my strategy. If you have any questions, it's really the right time to ask, because I have both chats on my left. So on my screen right here, I have the chat. So if you have any questions, it's perfect, you can ask. Okay, perfect, let's start. So let's start with Euro USD. So what's going on with Euro USD? Overall, we need to identify the trend, okay? That's the first things first. When you analyze a chart, first things first is to analyze and identify the trend. So in this case, what's going on? In this case, we have right here a break of structure to the downside. As you can see right here, this is a break of structure to the downside. What does that mean? It means that we are bearish, right? When we have a break to the downside, it means that we're looking to go to the downside. But right now, see what's going on? We have multiple break of structures to the upside. So what's going on? What do we do with this information? Are we pushing still down, or are we pushing up? It's pretty simple to understand that. If this is your last range, okay, and this is your range that you're looking for some sells, you can actually trade in that range to look for some sells until we're outside of the range. So what does that mean? It means if right here I have some points of interest that are interesting, I can look for some sells like right here, etc. But more recently, look what happened. We destroyed the POIs, so we destroyed the zones, and now we're getting more bullish. So now we just broke structure to the upside right here. However, there's one problem with it. So yeah, there's one problem with it. The problem is that the range is ugly. Like, it's super ugly. And as you can see right here, it is really, really big. If you do this, this is the new range with this break of structure. By the way, this is not the low of the new range. This is not the low of the new range. Why this is not the low? It's because this is not the break of structure to the upside. This is not a break of structure to the upside. If the previous range that you had was right here, if this is the previous range that you had, everything going on between the high and the low inside is internal. So if you consider anything like, for example, this break, whatever, that's all internal, okay? Because your structure and your range was between this high right here, and this low right here, right? So everything going on inside, bam, 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 unless and until we break through a higher and a low, is internal. So in this case, the break of structure happened here. So this is the range. And why the low doesn't change? You will tell me why the low doesn't change to go to this low, to go to this low, and to go to this low. It's because when you have a change of character, okay, it's really important. When you have a change of character, the low stays the same that broke structure. So what does that mean? It means that exactly right here, if this is the high of the previous range, this is the lowest point in this range. When you're gonna have a change of characters, you're gonna have a reversal, the low stays the same. It doesn't move. It only moves when you have an additional break. If you have an additional break, now yes, this is the new high and this is the new low. But by the time this happens, the low stays the same. That's why in this case, that's the problem. There is a problem. The problem is the range is big. What do we do when the range is big? We do nothing, because how can you actually know if this is really a change of character or it's just a really, really big liquidity sweep, like a really, really, really big liquidity sweep, okay? So as you can see right here, it might just be a really big liquidity sweep, but it looks like a reversal, that's 100% sure, but I would not trade anything in this range yet, because first, the range is huge. Like, if this is my range, what do I do with this? It's too huge. The time that it comes back to mitigate my points of interest in the bottom right here, it might be already another reversal. So, you know, the range is too big to look for anything right now. So on Euro USD, I would actually just wait, okay? On Euro USD, I would actually just wait. Why? Because of the big structure and because I don't like trading in such big structures, okay? So what I would expect on Euro USD for it to have a good structure and a good trade is a little pullback right here. Have a little pullback, and then you break structure to the upside again. So then we can have a break to the upside and we're gonna have a new range. And in this new range, we'll be able to look for some buys, okay? But for now, okay, there is nothing much going on Euro USD, and I would, according to my strategy, I would just leave it to the side. So, yeah, let's go now on GBP USD. GBP USD as well, we just did the breakdown session in the community, and with the breakdown session we found that there was a trade on GBP USD, so we just broke down a trade that was on GBP USD, and let's see what we have now. So what's going on with GBP USD? It's pretty similar to what happened with Euro USD, but there is one little difference. And the little difference that we have right here is the fact that this is still a break of structure to the downside. Looks like we're getting pretty much the same scenario as on Euro USD. But there is one little difference. The little difference that is, as you can see here, we broke structure to the downside one time. But after that, price started to get pretty aggressive. We have a little pullback here and we have a little pullback here. So you will tell me, okay, but now price is getting more aggressive. So what do we do with that? There's two options. The first option would just be to consider this as some liquidity. Okay, this is really, really important. The first option would be to just consider this as liquidity, and you just have a a lot of liquidity here. So you have some liquidity here, some liquidity here, here, whatever here, and continue to look for some sells. Okay, that's the first option. The first option would to consider this as liquidity and continue to look for some sells. The second option would be to consider those little pullbacks as actually some ranges and some structure. If you consider the second option, this means that right here you have a begin of reversal, right here you have another break, and just basically everything in between later on is just a bullish structure. Okay, so now you will tell me, okay, but how do you know if this is actually a change of character or is just liquidity? You know, the thing is, with trading, there's no right answer. What do I mean by that is that there's no wrong and good answers. Why? It's because it depends. It's really, really subjective for some extent. It's because it is subjective. So if you're not sure about a structure, if it's not like clear, 100% crystal clear, you just need to manage your risk accordingly to it. So what does that mean? It means, for example, if you are sure that you have a really good like structure, everything is clear, this is your range, etc., you can use full risk at your points of interest without any problems. But if the structure is weird, you can trade both. Why not? You know, you can trade the sells, but at the same time you can look for some buys, because if you're not sure, you know, it's just better to try it out, but you can always reduce your risk, right? That's the whole point. If you're not sure because you hesitate in between two structure and both of them make sense, it's not like you think that a structure will appear. Both of them actually make sense. The best thing to do, in my opinion, is that you never know which one of the structure will work. So the best thing to do is to lower your risk. If one of them gets destroyed, it's fine. Anyway, it was half risk. And if it works out, that's it. You made profit. So as you can see exactly right here, we identified some bullish trend right here with this trade on GBP USD. The last break of structure with this bullish structure was right here. Again, identify my break of structures from a body closure to another body closure. If you take your wicks, it would be here. Anyway, stays the same. Then you had basically this little range, and in this area I identified my 4-hour points of interest with, in this case, half risk. This point of interest looks huge, I know. If you don't like this big point of interest, there is exactly a really, really similar one on the 1 hour right here. So anyway, stays the same. So then price tapped into this 1 hour POI or the 4 hour POI. Anyway, it's the same area. We tapped into it. According to my strategy, the next step to do is to go on the 15 minutes and wait for a 15-minute change of character / break of structure to the upside. As you can see right here, this is the high I needed to break. Again, identify my break of structures, change of character, whatever, from a body closure to another body closure. In this case, this is now the change of character / break to the upside. Then I can take my Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, as you can see exactly right here, and I can identify my valid points of interest again. So this is the Fib, and I'm going to identify my valid points of interest again, okay? So what's going on exactly right here? This is the high, this is the low of this POY. Why? It's because this is the opposite color candles. They are connected to each other, and there is a little imbalance right here. So this is perfect, okay? So what does that mean? That this is a valid points of interest. Now, if you straight away enter at this point of interest right here, stop loss below the low, exactly right here, you'll see that there is a little problem, okay? The little problem that we have right here is that if you target the high, it's less than 104 risk-reward ratio. For me, okay, a trade that is less than 104 risk-reward ratio, according to the results that I have with the strategy, it's not a trade that is worth it to take. Okay, so what do we do if a trade is bad risk to ratio? There is again two options. The first option would just be to refine the POI. So in this case, the refined POI would be this 15-minute one right here. But still, even if you take the 15-minute refined POI and you enter right here, you'll see that it's still lower than 104. It's 3.9. Close, it's better, but it's still lower. So not good option. The other option would be to wait for a 1-minute break. Right here, price stopped into this POI. The ratio is bad, so we want to refine it, right? To refine it, what you can do is pretty simple. When price stops into this POI, you can go on the 1 minute, and while you go on the 1 minute, you will find the 1 minute structure, right? In this case, we can do exactly the same thing as we did on a higher time frame, but now on a lower time frame. So we had the high time frame POI mitigation and then a 15-minute change of character. Now it's a 15-minute POI mitigation and a 1-minute change of character. So in this case, we got the little change of character exactly right here. If I go back in time when it only happened, we straight away identified this 1-minute POI that got created straight away after the break of structure / change of character right here. You could have entered right here, stop loss below the low. Now you don't need to cover your entire range on the 15-minute with your stop loss. You can only cover the 1-minute low. So as you can see right here, now I'm covering only the 1-minute low right here with my stop loss, and that's it. I don't need anything else. My 103 risk to ratio would be my take profit 1, and again you can always add a little bit of pips for your spreads. So 103 risk to ratio would be your take profit 1, and your take profit final in this case would be the hourly high. So the hourly high, you have two options. Either you have the option to just close it at the 15-minute high, but overall the take profit is the same as it was at this high for 1 to 18. However, again, before you start telling me, but the market closed, so are you gonna hold the trade during the market close, because then you're gonna get swept because it's only a 4 pip stop loss, blah 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 blah. I know, so that's why we closed this trade before the weekend, but let's just see how it developed. So we basically, this was the trade, and basically right here price tapped into the POI and just pushed up. So it hit 103 risk to ratio almost instantly, as you can see exactly right here. But if you're looking at the time code, it was at 3 o'clock, and my time again, it was at 3 o'clock, and market is closing at 5, right? So there was no really any opportunity for the trade to go crazy and hit like crazy risk to ratio in 2 hours. So either you could have closed it right here at 103 fully, or you just leave it run a little bit, but honestly there was no need for it to leave it run. Just before market close, it came back at the same area as 103 risk to ratio. So this one was a 1 to 3 risk to ratio exactly right here, 103 risk to ratio trade. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So let's continue. Okay, so yeah, that was for GBP/USD, and that means that this trade is chow buy. So what do we do with this now? We just have the same POIs right here that we're gonna wait for other POI mitigations, but except for that there is nothing else. So okay, that's pretty much it. Let's continue with USD/JPY. So USD/JPY, what's going on exactly right here? Same thing, it's pretty simple. So we broke structure to the downside here and here, as you can see. So we broke here and here, but now more recently we broke structure to the upside again. So I would be looking for some buys. Right here. technically got a reversal to look for some sells, but not really, because this was still the previous range for me, like that was the previous range right here, and this is the new range that got broken, and then we broke structure here, but we never broke the overall low. Instead we broke through the high, as you can see. So technically you can look for some buys right here. Price already tapped into the POY. You know, we already tapped into a POY. According to the strategy, there was nothing much going on, because when we tapped into the POY, there was no opportunity to look for a 15-minute break. Why? It's because here there's no high to be broken, as you can see. This is the high that we needed to break, and if you go on the 1 hour, that was pretty much as well the hourly high, so it's no longer valid. But you do have right here a 1 hour POY that you can look for some buys right here. If you consider that this is your previous range and then you just stuck in this previous range, you don't really do anything because that's internal, but we consider that this is a little pullback, this is a little pullback. I mean, not really this one, but this one, yes. So we can identify some ranges inside right here. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for USD GPY. By the way, if you have, guys, any questions, I'm always here to answer. I don't see any questions, so that's why I just continue. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can always ask right now. Okay, perfect. So GBP GPY, nothing much going on right here either. So we're just being bullish, as you can see. So we broke structure to the upside here again, creating this range. This is a previous POY in the bottom. So in this new range, do we have something interesting? On the 4 hour, there was nothing to do. So we can go on the 1 hour, and unfortunately on the 1 hour, there is nothing to do either. So GBP GPY, what do we have is just this 1 hour POY in the bottom, and that's pretty much it. There is nothing else that we can do. Okay, someone said US oil. Okay, guys, I can do wait. Bam, it moved. Okay. US oil. Okay, so what's going on oil? According to the strategy, we'll see it now. Okay, so overall oil for me is bearish. Okay, for me oil right now is bearish. Why? It's because we broke structure downside here, here, and here, but we start to get more bullish by breaking structure here and here, but we never broke the overall high, and we didn't create any continuation. So what does that mean? It means that right here we broke structure twice, but this could have been just a lot of liquidity sweep, and then we're gonna continue to the downside. And to confirm that it's not actually a liquidity sweep, you can wait for a second break. So what does that mean? It means that another break of structure upside right here. It did not happen. Instead, we've been just pushing to the downside. So right now we're stuck in this bullish range right here, but there's no any POY to look for any entry, because I remember on the previous week we took a look, and we had a 1 hour POY right here, but if I remember well, it got already mitigated. Yeah, it got already mitigated on a previous week. So as a POY already had a reaction from it, it's no longer valid. So there is nothing to do right here on US oil according to my strategy right now. What we can expect is just a break of structure to the downside to continue the bearish trend. But for now, there is nothing much going on. And someone else said, you want to do what? That's silver. So we can do silver as well, I suppose. Okay, silver, interesting, really more bullish than gold at the moment. Okay, so what's going on? Basically, we've been pushing to the upside pretty aggressively on silver, and we broke structure right here. we have a little pullback. As you can see, we have a little pullback. We can measure the pullback to see if it's good enough. Came below the 0.25, but pretty aggressive pullback. But anyway, the market structure is pretty aggressive. So you can consider this as a small pullback to the upside. Not to the upside, but a small pullback and a break to the upside. So that would mean that this is the range. It's pretty aggressive, but technically we tapped into an extreme point of interest right here with this little inducement right here. It's really, really small though, but it is what it is. So yeah, if you go on the 15-minute, according to my strategy, there is nothing to do yet because we don't have any high to break. We need minimum a 2 candlestick pullback in the same direction with the same color. In this case, we don't have it. We just have one and another one. So that doesn't much going on. There's nothing much going on right here. If we break structure to the downside, we create another bearish range, then this will be the high to break. But for now, nothing much going on here. Except for that, we can see in the previous range, we have as well a 4-hour point of interest there. For me, this one looks better because this POI on the 4-hour have liquidity. So as you can see exactly right here, this POI on the 4-hour is really, really aggressive. Why? It's because this range is really, really aggressive, as you can see. But if you want to do the difference, okay, if you want to do the difference between a good POI and a bad POI, look at the structure. So as you can see exactly right here, the structure is really, really aggressive. And we have two POIs, right? We have this one and we have this one. Now you will tell me, okay, which one is the best? If you look at the structure, you'll see that right here, the pullback and the break is really, really small. And the liquidity that we have is here. This is the little inducement that we just got a sweep of it. So this is a liquidity sweep. But if you look at the previous break right here, we can actually have as well a bigger range like this. And if you take your bigger range, you'll see that this is actually the liquidity for the POI below, as you can see. So, of course, this POI would be stronger than this POI, and actually the liquidity can be right here, and this POI above can be a trap. But again, if you still want to take this POI, you can as well just lower your risk and something like that. That way you keep your highest risk for this POI below. So this is how you can do it, but at the same time we're being really, really aggressive, like I was explaining. So as we are really, really aggressive, this can completely react without any problem, and we still have some inducement here. Even if it's worse than this one below, we can still take a try right here because we never know, and it still might react. So yeah, the only thing that you need to do after a POI is mitigated is to go on the 15 minutes and wait for a 15-minute change of character. If you have your 15-minute change of character, you're good to go for an entry. So yeah, that's pretty much it for silver. Okay guys, so let's continue with the Forex pairs. So GBP, GPY, exactly right here, what's going on. So GBP, GPY, what's going on? We continue to go up where they analyze that. USD CHF, nothing. USD CAD, really, really aggressive. We've been just pushing to the outside, but it's to the downside, I'm sorry, but it's been really, really, really aggressive. Like, honestly, those POIs are really, really aggressive on USD CAD right now. It's not even aggressive, it's just that it's really far away, and the current market structure is really aggressive. So there's nothing interesting to do. Like, you know, it's just boring, if that makes sense. So nothing much to do here. So what do we do? I mean, we still keep the same POIs that we had above, and honestly, nothing much left to do here. So yeah, nothing much to do here. We can technically look for some internal trades. Like, internally we have this 1-hour POI that can look interesting. Why this POI internally can look good? It's because the internal structure on the 1 hour is really more bearish. We have some liquidity here. So yeah, internally it can look interesting, but overall that's not wow. Like, that's really just not wow. And by the way, those POIs are no longer half risk, there would be full risk. Okay. So yeah, we have an internal POI here that we can look for some sales, but again, don't just straight away enter. Wait for a 15-minute change of character when price taps into the POI first. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's it on AUD USD. We broke structurally upside again, as you can see. Honestly, same thing, same problem. It's too aggressive. Like, it's too aggressive. So this is your range, but it's so aggressive. Like, again, we have some POIs in the bottom, but there's nothing much to do. By the way, guys, gold, there's nothing according to my strategy. You can stop spamming gold, by the way. There's nothing according to my strategy right now. Gold is really boring. According to my strategy, we just broke structure to the downside here, and there's nothing to do. Like, we broke structure here, and now we're just consolidating inside of this range. Basically, the range on gold is like this. Okay, according to my strategy, everything that is going on between a high and a low, like I was explaining, is internal. So everything right here is a consolidation. We're waiting for the break of structure first. When we're gonna have the break of structure first, then we can look for some trades, but right now there's nothing to do according to my strategy on gold. So yeah, NZD USD, that's a bit more interesting because right here we've been really aggressive, as you can see. But we actually started to break structure. So we broke structure here. So we are aggressive. It's true. We are super aggressive on NZD USD, but at least we have some kind of structure. So this is the range if we consider that this is the last break to the upside. So what we can actually do is look for some entry slash POIs. But first, POIs. So on the 4 hour, we don't have any valid POIs. But if you go on the 1 hour, we had this POI, but it's already mitigated. As you can see, the POI got already mitigated once, so you cannot reuse it twice. But in the bottom right here, we do have a 1 hour POI that in this case would be valid because it's connected to this little imbalance, and this POI would be according to the strategy. So yeah, and below that right here we do have a POI too. So exactly right here we do have a point of interest too, and we have a lot of inducement liquidity above it, so that's good. So yeah, that's pretty much it. What do we have on NZD USD? Honestly, that doesn't look bad, that doesn't look good. It's fine. It's really aggressive, but it's actually fine because we do have some liquidity. The market structure is aggressive, so it's not like we've been too aggressive. We just follow the aggressivity of the market structure. If the market structure is aggressive, you actually need to follow the market structure, because if you don't follow the market structure, you will never catch any trades. So in this case, as you can see right here, the market structure has been really aggressive. You know, we broke structure here, and the current range is indeed right here. So you can actually really identify your points of interest and your areas below the 0.5% in this aggressive range. And as you can see exactly right here, we have a point of interest right here and a point of interest exactly right here. And above them, we do have some liquidity. So we do have some liquidity and inducement here and right here. So both of the POIs are good, even if the market structure is aggressive. So yeah, that's it for NZD USD. Okay, so when you consider that a POI is no longer valid, for me, a POI, it's no longer valid when it got already mitigated or it's too far away. So what does that mean? For me, like, what does that mean? So for example, okay, when to consider that a POI is no longer valid, it's pretty simple. It's because, for example, if a POI is already mitigated, like for example right here, this was a valid point of interest, but it got already mitigated in the past. So a second tap is no longer valid for it to be a valid POI. First stop, yes. So the POI basically already reacted. So a second tap is no longer valid for me. For me, my POIs needs to be unmitigated. And the second time that the POI is no longer valid if it's outside of two current ranges. So what does that mean? It means that if I have a POI in the bottom exactly right here, as you can see, but my current range is on top right here, this POI would be too old, because by the time price comes back inside of this POI, the structure would have shifted and we're no longer looking for buys by the time price stops into the POI. So this is another condition on when the POI is not valid. So yeah. You didn't get the challenge. I sent the what are you talking about? Did you win something on the previous giveaways? Because I sent it to the person who texted me on the previous week. So yeah. Okay. Let's go now on Euro GBP. Euro GBP, it's interesting, okay? I said 4. No, there's only one person who wins every single how's it called? Every single week, only one person wins for the giveaway. Okay. So yeah, Euro GBP, as you can see exactly right here, what's going on? It's pretty simple. Euro GBP is the perfect example of a range that makes sense. So as you can see right here, this is the last break of structure to the downside. That's perfect. What we created this high and we created this low, as you can see. So the structure would be from the lowest point for actually right here. This is the lowest point. This is the highest point. You take your Fibonacci and you're going to identify your valid points of interest above the 0.5%. In this case, we have this beautiful 4-hour point of interest, and this 4-hour point of interest is as well connected exactly right here to a little imbalance, as you can see. So we have an empty space between the box of the POI and this wick right here where nothing happened. So this is an imbalance, okay? Now price tapped into this 4-hour POI. So what are we doing is to go on the 15 minutes to look for a 15-minute change of character. Right here, this is where price stopped into the POI. So to find the low that we need to break to have a change of character, we need to go lower until we find the last break to the upside. So in this case, the last break to the upside happened right here. So this is the high that got broken for the last time. That means that the low connected to this high would be here, and this is the new high. So this is your range. So that means this is the low we need to break for our change of character / break of structure to the downside. Okay. If you go on the 1 hour, your take profit final would be somewhere around right here on right here. So actually it would be a better thing if price, instead of breaking the low here, continue to push to the upside, creates us a new range, so then we can have more space to target and reach the final take profit, because by the time price breaks structure, we're gonna be pretty close to the final take profit, if not. But yeah, for now, that's what I'm looking for. This is the low we need to break. If not, I want price to come up, break structure to the upside first, then we're gonna have a new range. So we're gonna change the range like this, and in consequence, we're gonna as well change the low to break right here, and then we're gonna have a better target in the bottom. So yeah, that's pretty much it, what's going on with Euro GBP. So yeah, pretty easy. Someone said, do you respond if someone DMs you? Yeah, I respond. Like, that's that says right here. Like, I actually respond, guys. If you go on how's it called? If you go on my Instagram, you'll see that I have legit everyone is answered. Like, this is all the messages. You see, everyone got answered. I answer everyone. So yeah, don't hesitate to DM me if you want. Okay, so that's it for major Forex pairs, guys. Okay, that's it for major Forex pairs. What do we do now? We can go on indices. On indices, quite simple. US 30 right now, what happened is that we broke structure to the upside. You know, we broke structure to the upside finally, so now we can look for some new buys. Right here we had a little pullback and then we just started to push higher. So bam, bam, and bam. Okay, so the current US 30 range would be right here. Okay, then we have a little pullback here actually too. Technically you can consider this as your new range, but doesn't really change anything much, and that just looks like some inducement, so it's just better to consider it like this. So yeah, we have a 4-hour POI here, nothing above. Below the 4-hour we have this 1 hour right here. As you can see, we have this 1 hour POI exactly right here. And below that, we don't have anything else. So what is going on US 30? Basically, we have this range with those two POIs. And yeah, this one, however, don't have any inducement next to it. So POI without inducement. And this one, however, does. So yeah, as you can see, that's perfect. So ici, not ici, but here we don't have any inducement. Here we have inducement. The inducement would be below right here basically. So yeah, that's what's going on US 30. So yeah, on US 30, what's going on right here? We're just overall bullish. We broke structure as well of the overall high, as you can see exactly right here. So now we can actually focus on the current structure. The current structure, the last break happened right here, as you can see. If you consider it with wicks, that would be right here, and the structure anyway stays the same. This is the low, this is the high, so we can identify our valid point of interest below the 0.5. We have one right here on the 4-hour, but without any inducement, as you can see. And if you go on the 1 hour, as you can see exactly right here, this is some liquidity / inducement. So this 1 hour PO high has some inducement. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking for on US 30. We're gonna place an alert right here, so we're gonna receive a notification when this POI will get tapped in. So then we can go here and wait for our 15-minute change of character to then enter. So yeah, that's pretty much it on US 30. Do we have any questions? No inducement on Euro GBP. Yes, there is some inducement on Euro GBP. As you can see exactly right here, we do have some inducement. That's some inducement on Euro GBP. So yeah, that's pretty much it. When we have a little pullback, that's considered as some inducement. Can you repeat about buy spread and sell spread? So yeah, I can repeat about buy spread and sell spread. I just want to finish to do like these two last things on NAS and S&P, and then I'm gonna repeat the thing about spreads, because I think it's really, really important. Okay, and can you do Euro 50 indices? we're gonna do Euro 50 indices. I never trade that thing. What is the symbol? I never heard of, not heard of, but I never trade Euro 50. Is it really Euro 50? That's the symbol? Because I don't find it. Euro futures, I don't know, guys. Tell me the symbol exact, and I'm gonna analyze it. Okay, so yeah, let's just finish with NAS. So NAS, same thing. We've been pretty aggressive, as you can see exactly right here. We've been pushing multiple times to the upside. So break of structure here, and we created basically this range, and the previous range was there. but we create as well a new range right here, kind of, but that's kind of a lot of highs at the same level, looks like liquidity, but yeah, we basically created a new break of structure right here. So now that means that we broke structure here, we broke structure here, but the buys would still be valid because this looks really ugly and this looks like a lot of accumulated liquidity. So I would still keep the buys valid. If, however, we have a pullback and then a break, then I would remove the buys, but for now they would still be valid. Are you live on YouTube? Couldn't find you there. Yeah, I'm on YouTube, basically on For Traders YouTube channel. If you go on my Instagram or on my Discord, just write For Traders on YouTube, you'll find it. I'm streaming on their YouTube channel. That's like a little collab, basically. So yeah, you can go to the link in my Instagram. I shared the link there if you want, or just write For Traders on YouTube, you'll find it. POI means order block. So yeah, POI is a synonym to order block. I just have my own like rules on how to identify them, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so yeah, S&P, what's going on? We finally broke structure to the upside. So here we create a huge range, huge range. So what's going on here? We have this POI on the 4 hour. We have nothing else below the 0.5, so we just have this POI here. We can go on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, we have this 1 hour POI exactly right here as well. And that's it. So below the 0.5%, we don't have anything else. We just have this 4 hour POI and this 1 hour POI to look for some buys on S&P 500. So yeah, guys, we're done with everything. We're done with everything for the breakdown. It was pretty normal, like nothing really crazy happened during the week. Anyway, right now it's December, by the way, and in December the volatility in the market structure and everything is really crazy. It's really not the best time to trade. Like, for example, on the previous week in the community, we only catch 4 trades. We only caught 4 trades. So yeah, there's nothing much going on right now because the market structure is not moving as much as we needed for our strategy. But again, it's just because it's December, and December the volatility is weird and the volume is low. So yeah, that's why nothing much changed since the previous week, but it is what it is. That's how December is. So yeah, okay. So you said euro stock 50? Okay, a euro 50. I think it's this one. So what's going on right here? Let's do a full-on analysis. So okay, guys, really important. How to analyze an empty chart from A to Z with the strategy. You'll see it's really simple. So we can start first of all by identifying the trend. Okay, so are we bullish or are we bearish? Okay, in this case I'm on euro 50 and I never saw this chart before, so it's a good example. So right here we can see that we're breaking structure multiple times to the upside. We broke structure here, then we broke structure to the downside here, to the downside, but then to the upside again, as you can see. Okay, so the last break of structure happened right here to the upside, but more recently we broke structure to the downside here, and we as well broke structure to the downside of the previous range. Okay, we broke structure to the downside of the previous range too. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we're gonna be bearish now? Let's first of all see this pullback. Okay, this pullback as well is close to the 0.5, so you can consider it. So we basically have a break to the downside, another break to the downside, and the break of the previous range low. So this is a sign of a reversal. Okay, this is a sign of a reversal. So what does that mean? This means that we can actually look for some sells here. Okay, when you're looking for some sales, I can straight away identify the extreme POY that is on top right here, as you can see. So if I extend, I can look for a sell when price taps into this POY. As you can see right here, price tapped into the POY. So we can go and see if the strategy worked. So we basically tapped into the POY exactly right here. Let's see what's happening right there. So when we tapped into the POY, we created basically a little break of structure to the downside / change of character there. This was the extreme POY, and as you can see, the first try was a loss. Why? It's because when you enter right here, stop loss above the high, this was a loss. But according to our strategy, we have 2 tries. If the first one is a loss, this might just be some liquidity, and then you can look for a second try. For the second try, right here, we broke structure to the downside right here again. So what can we do? We can again identify the new range and see if we have any points of interest. So in this case, we have the extreme POY above right here. Looks like it's lower. We have this POY too that I don't know if it's already mitigated. Looks like it's already mitigated. Okay, let's go on the 1 minute now. Okay, that's weird. I don't like when price is doing this. Okay, so we have this 1 minute POY exactly right here too, and this is still the extreme one. Nothing changed in this area. Okay, so we have basically this 1 minute POY exactly right here. Those candlesticks, I think that's because it's a future symbol, but I personally really don't like those type of candlesticks because it's kind of ugly. It's kind of ugly. But yeah, we tapped into the POY, we destroyed this POY as you can see because we closed above. Then price still broke structure to the downside, but then it just left. So the second try right here, unfortunately, we could have not get in for one specific reason. It's because this was the extreme POY entry. The stop loss would have been here and the entry would have been right here. So unfortunately, we missed this entry by a few pips. But again, this happens with trading. So yeah, the POY reacted. And in this case, there is nothing much else to do. There is no other extreme POY here. We're getting more bullish as well, but I would wait for this high to be broken at 100% before looking for some extra buys. Like right now, the buys can work, but that would be like kind of counter trend-ish. So if you wait for this high to be broken at 100%, then it will be 100% bullish. And right now, if you want, you can do like on US indices, you can identify this as your current range and look for a little buy right here. But I would use half risk because with the structure, we didn't break this high overall yet, so it's still bearish in my opinion. We are already reacting pretty nicely from the extreme area right here, so I wouldn't be surprised if the momentum continues a little bit before continuing up to go back to the initial momentum that we had that was bullish. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for Euro 50. Okay guys, so now let's just do a quick explanation about spreads, okay, because on the previous live stream I did a explanation about spreads and it's really important. So let me give you an example, okay? Let me give you an example because it's gonna be easier with an example. Okay, so we can do whatever, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I don't know. Okay, let's imagine let me just find a trade. If I find a trade, it's gonna be easier. So let's go on GBP USD exactly right here. Let's go back to this point. Perfect. So imagine that right here you have a POY, okay, and this is your entry. Stop loss will be below the low. Imagine you have something like that, okay? The strategy works on every pair. Yes, it works everywhere. I can identify, analyze everything is gonna work. Okay, so let's see what it looks like for spreads. Okay, so how can I explain it for everyone to understand? So imagine that you have an entry exactly right here and price taps into the entry like by a few seconds, but when you go and see your MT5 or like your trade locker, the entry didn't get tapped in even if it came back exactly to the limit order. This is because of spreads, okay? And this is what you need to know for identifying your spreads and how to avoid not getting in the trades. So first of all, when you talk about spreads, you have two things. You have the bid price line and you have the ask price line. So you have something like this, okay? The difference between the two lines is your spreads. Depending on the pair, the volume, etc., the volatility, the spreads can be bigger or smaller. On major pairs, like for example, Euro USD, GBP USD, etc., spreads are usually really small, even raw, meaning that there is almost no spreads. But on minor pairs, the spreads are bigger. So let's change this color for red and green, okay? So when price comes down, okay, when price comes down, price is always in the inferior line right here. But for price to get you in the trade, if it's a buy position, it will always trigger you on the red line. So what does that mean? It means that you have a theoretical line and a real line. So as you can see, even if price actually taps you in the entry with this green line, but the red line never crosses the entry level, you're not gonna actually be in the trade. You're not gonna be actually in the position because this is your spread. So for you to get in this position at the exact level that you want it, you actually need to increase the position to cover your spreads, because that way when price comes and taps this level, the red line will cross the limits, as you can see right here, and trigger you in the trade. If it just here, the red line never actually activated the trade, so this is why you were not tapped in, okay? But when it's a sell, okay, so when it's the opposite position, you don't have spreads, okay? This is really important. This is super interesting. It's because when it's a sell, so that means if the red line is always above the green line, okay, and the green line is the current price action and the red line is your spreads, what does that mean? It means if price comes down, okay, here, let's imagine that price right here comes down and now it's in this area, it's at the green line, as you can see. So what does that mean? It means that if it hits your stop loss, you know, here, you're gonna get stopped out. Why? It's because there's no usage for the broker to stop you out actually lower, you know. So when you enter, you have spreads because this is the red line that actually crosses your limit. But when you exit the trade, as you can see, when you exit the trade, you're gonna get stopped out at the green line, exactly right here, because it's basically the worst case scenario of both. So imagine like it's the worst case scenario of both. So what does that mean? If it's the worst case scenario, that means if you get stopped out here, it's at the green line because it's lower. But when you enter, you're gonna enter at the red line because it's worse. Basically, it's always the worst case scenario. Okay, and if you, for example, okay, and if for example you enter a sell, that would be the same thing but in the opposite direction. So imagine that I want to enter in a sell, okay? Imagine I want to enter in a sell exactly right here and my stop loss is above the high right here. Same thing, okay? There's two things. The red and the green line doesn't change direction when it's a sell. It stays the same thing, okay? So the current price action, okay, imagine it like this, okay? The current price action is, let's say I want to enter here, okay? Let's say at the current price action. So the current price action will enter me with the green line. Why? It's because there's no usage for entering me lower where the actual price is. So if my entry is, let's say right here, basically above the current price, there's no usage for the broker to enter me earlier, right? They're gonna enter me at the exact same level where the actual price is, so basically right here, Okay, they're gonna enter me right here, not at the red line, but at the green line. But when you exit the trade, so basically when you buy, you have spreads. So the opposite order for sell is a buy, right? So if you enter the sell, there's no spreads, but when you buy, there is spreads. So as you can see exactly right here, basically when price will reach, let's say, this area right here, okay? Let's say it reaches this area right here. Even if your stop loss is higher than this area right here, you'll still get stopped out. Okay, that's why you always get stopped out in a sell earlier where you actually place your stop loss. Why? It's because of spreads. It's because even if price never actually tapped your stop loss, because of spreads, you're gonna get stopped out. So that's why if your stop loss is actually, let's say here, you need to consider that you're gonna have spreads and increase it. So by the time price hits the actual level where you really wanted to get stopped out, you're really gonna get stopped out at the level that you wanted and not earlier. Okay, that's how spreads work, and that's why it's super important to understand it. So in conclusion, when you have a buy order, no matter if you're entering the market or if you're exiting the market, you're gonna have spreads. If you have a sell order, you enter and you exit at market value. Okay, that's the difference. So that's it. If you enter a buy, you have spreads, but if you enter a sell or exit with a sell, you don't have spreads and you exit at market value. Okay, so that's how it works with spreads. Okay, so yeah, I hope that was clear, by the way, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so yeah guys, so now we're 11 people, so that's time to do the little giveaway. For the giveaway, guys, again, we're only 11, so you have a lot of chances to win. So I'm gonna stop the live stream on TikTok. If you want to participate in the giveaway, you need to transfer on YouTube, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah guys, for everyone that is already on YouTube, don't hesitate to just stay here. The giveaway will be right now. So yeah, I'm streaming, by the way, on For Traders YouTube channel. So you just write For Traders and you're gonna find the live stream to participate in the giveaway. So yeah guys, I'm ending the live stream right now on TikTok and transfer on YouTube if you want to participate. So okay, that's it. Okay guys, so now it's time for the giveaway. Again, with only 9 people. Okay, 9 people, you have a lot of chance to win. Like, for it to be worth it, again, I'm gonna take the first 5 people, but maybe you're gonna all participate in the giveaway today. So again, more chances for win for you guys. So okay, but as there's no competition, okay, 9 people, it's really small. Like, it's really small. There's no competition, like there's no even need to ask a question, because if people don't have the right answer, I can... Oh, but that's interesting. I'm still gonna take the question, and everyone who has the right answer will participate in the giveaway. Everyone that doesn't won't. That's interesting. That way, as we have, not everyone will have the right answer, and only the people who got the right answer will participate in the giveaway. So that's actually a really good idea. I'm gonna do it like that. Okay guys, so listen well, because you have a lot of chance to win today. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. You answer the letter corresponding to the right answer. So for example, if the right answer is the letter P, that means that you're gonna write P in the chat. Okay, if the right answer is the letter O, you're gonna write the letter O in the chat. You only have one try. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that if you write P and then you say, oh, never mind, I want to write O, you can't. I'm gonna take your first entry, basically. So if I see your name, okay, if I see your name and I write that you, for example, I saw that you took the letter P, and then later on you write something else, I'm not gonna consider your second try. Okay, so I'm always considering the first one. And if you delete your message, you're disqualified. So for example, if you delete your message because you want to change the answer, you can't. So again, if I see you deleting a message after, of course, I ask the question, etc., you're gonna be disqualified. So yeah, that's it. And you cannot pre-shot it either because the letters are random. So it can be A like it can be D, the right answer. So yeah. Okay guys, so I hope everyone understood the rules. So I'm gonna ask the question right now. So bam. And the right here, wait. Wait. I'm gonna put the wheel of names right here. Perfect. So yeah, this is the wheel of names. Everyone who got the right answer will be ready to spin. And yeah, that's perfect. So let's start it right now. So let me just write the question. That's interesting. Okay. 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 Click. click for real. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I have my question. So again, you answer the right letter corresponding to the right answer. Okay, you cannot change your answer. You cannot delete your message. Okay, perfect. So 3, 2, 1, and let's show it. So on which direction, buy or sell order, do you have spreads? We talked about it. So is it H, you have spreads when it's a sell order? D, you have spreads when it's a sell and a buy order? B, you have spreads only when it's a buy order? Or G, you have 0 spreads on minor pairs? So what is the right answer? Is it H, D, B, or G? Again, guys, you have one try. You're not a lot of people, so you have a lot of chances to win. Okay? So, is it when it's a sell order? Is it when it's both? Or is it when it's a buy order? Or you have 0 spreads on minor pairs? Which one is the right answer? Which one is the right answer? Okay. Okay. So we have B. Perfect. Okay, someone spammed the letter B. Okay, guys. So The right answer was indeed B. You have spreads only when it's a buy order. Okay, so that means that when you're selling, you don't have spreads. So that means when you hit stop loss on a buy, it's a sell order, so you don't have spreads. And when you're selling, you don't have spreads either. You just have spreads when you exit a buy, so it's a buy order. And you have spreads when you enter a buy, so only when it's a buy order, basically. So the right answer was right here. This is the right answer. It was B. Okay, so B, and that being said, we can see who won. So we have this person, this person, this person, this person, and this person. So perfect. That's pretty much it, everyone. That's 5 people. That's perfect. So let's do it. Let's do it now. Wait, it's here. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna take this first person right here. Interesting. Bam. This one. So I said everyone who got the right answer will participate this time. So okay. And we had this person. So 5 people. Okay, guys. So congrats to everyone who got it right. Okay, congrats to everyone who got this right. And it's time to spin the wheel. So guys, congrats and good luck for everyone who are there. And yeah, let's spin it right now. So we have luck. So this person exactly right here, and Knuckle Maria. I think I pronounced badly your username. I'm so sorry, but yeah, this person won right here. So I'm gonna show you the channel. So this person exactly right here is the winner. So what you need to do to claim your prize, it's quite simple. You just need to go on Instagram and send me a message. So you can send me a message with your dashboard, so like a recording, a screenshot, whatever, that this is your YouTube channel. And then when you're gonna send me the proof that this is your YouTube channel, I'm gonna send you the code for your free account. So yeah, congratulations for winning the free funded account. And yeah, guys, that would be pretty much it for today. If you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to just send me a message again on Instagram. And if not, I'm gonna see you soon for another weekly outlook next Saturday. So yeah, guys, have a nice